Hello, fans around the world. Now with John from Pioneer Syndicate, and also with Richard Millington, our agents from UK. Yeah. Can you do?
Yeah. So I'm John Badwin, and so yeah, we enter the one-off races under the Pioneer Syndicates, and we race separately, but we own all the pigeons together. The ones that go to the one-off races, but also the ones that we race ourselves in nationals and club racing locally. And Mr. John Cowley. So we can show you the lofts. This is John's actual loft, so we race completely separately, different locations, but John's loft's a lot nicer than mine, so we thought we'd film here today. So if you want to show the going, we'll show you the pigeons. The babies in the this is John's first babies. These are actually his distance team, so they're just looking out. They live in there, so they're just looking at the trap and learning before they start to fly. I spend most of the day out here when John's here, just looking at the surroundings. So you'll probably have them out the weekend, I guess, John, when you're for the first time.
When did you breed those?
They was paired up in December, didn't we?
Yeah. But they're all the long distance bloodlines. So we've never really specialised in long distance. So we've done sort of sprint middle distance with our Francois pigeons. We've had some good success in the longer races with them, but they're not really sort of 500 plus pigeons. So the last 2 or 3 years we've acquired a lot of children, brothers and sisters to big national winners at 500 plus, and we just blended them together. So normally when we buy pigeons, we buy a family. We go to a fancier and we buy a lot from them, but with the long distance we've gone a different route. Rather than just have one family, we've just bought really good proven children of long distance winners, so they're Grand National winners. The Grizzle is a grandchild of Queen Mary, for example, that won the Tarts National a few years ago, and then there were a lot of them all similar bred. So from them different winners over the last few years, whether it's internationals or nationals. So yeah, just a blend really. So it's a new project for us. It's something that's really we're just starting. Have a few yearlings in my loft this year from them for the long distance, and John didn't have any last year, so this is his first team of young ones with the long ones. So yeah, new little project for us to push a bit further. Yeah. And we've actually crossed a few in with the swells as well to have that sort of proven bloodlines that we know and just will do it as well. So some pictures of the main pigeons on the wall here. So this was one of our record-breaking performances when in the National Flying Club Contiers Young Bird Race from France. We actually took the first 10 positions in the National's been going well over 100 years. That's a record. No fancy has ever done that in one race. And that was a pigeon that actually won the race that day, Maltese Falcon. He's actually gone on and bred some reasonable one-loft pigeons as well this year. Actually, he bred first UK third open in a one-loft race as well. Guernsey Princess, she's another pigeon that's won the national, and she was third national. And since she's gone into the breeding loft, she's actually bred 2 national winners, and she's grand dam of a national winner, plus many other good prizes. And the last one, Be Lucky there, that actually won the national from St Malo in France at 240 miles this year, or in 2025. So the last race of the last season, she come and won the national for John. We can show you some of the pigeons in a minute, but in a minute. So this is where the going to be John's long distance team. It's going to be the youngsters in here this year, and then next year there'll be the old birds will be racing in here once he built the team up. So he's kind of got this ready to build this team up into the future as we sort of go into some of them longer races. But as you can see, it's a very nice airy loft. It's
Very good, isn't it?
yeah, the loft works really well. Keeps the pigeons in excellent condition. Yeah.
Because it's just. Do you have the fans on? Do you
No,
use the fans
no,
at all?
no.
No. Oh, it's
Yeah, they're
nice.
there, yeah. It's nice flow, and even when all the pigeons are in here, you can't never smell pigeons in here or anything like that. So it is ideal. So the ones that are in the basket are living in here at the moment, and you've got another round and some extras to come in, haven't you, to build the team up. The aim is to have probably about 80 long distance babies this year, which will be the start of the team. On top of also obviously our Francois and our Gomars for the sprint and middle distance races will be extra on top of that. Let's see some of the race birds. This is the sprint team of cocks that John will be racing this year. How many's in there, John? There's
9 cocks.
Nine cocks. These will these the Gomar pigeons are quite new to us as well. This will be the first time we're racing them as old birds. We brought them in from Belgium, and the Gomars there have had some really good pigeons over the last few years in sprinting. In fact, they won the Ace Sprint Pigeon, and they've had the best pigeon in Belgium history over 2 seasons sprinting. So we've invested quite heavily buying 4 direct children of their main pigeon and quite a few others that are closely related to all their best pigeons. So again, a new adventure for us with the out-and-out sprint pigeons to complement what we already had, which was our main family of Francois. There'll probably be some of them bloodlines we'll probably send to the Pattaya this year to have a go at the sprinter end of your races. Whether they go out to 630k, I'm not so sure, but they should compete in the quicker ones at least. These have just had their babies recently weaned, haven't
They
they?
come away last weekend.
Yeah, so they're just tidying up after rearing babies and stuff and getting ready for racing, which I say starts in three and a half weeks' time. So
No pressure.
no pressure, no.
No, they're really calm, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that this loft again works very well for that, and the depth of it, keeps the pigeons calm. They're in their little safe space, and that keeps them nice in there. It's ideal for weathercocks, especially them sort of sections. What we got next door, John?
Doing the old ends team, literally young just come away from it.
So these, and what?
All September.
And again, these are what's for swallows and Gomars.
Mainly Gomars.
Mainly Gomars, yep. So these won't race until later on in the year.
Right,
So
okay.
these will be kept by and specifically got ready for the nationals with the young birds, the old hens nationals and stuff. So John likes to keep them nice and fresh, and they come out with the babies, start with the babies training, and then race with them. We're lucky. Our fed, the Thames, has any age racing throughout the year.
Yeah, that's good.
So they can go, fresh in July and then start their race program then. So when they get to the nationals, they're not had a whole season,
Yeah.
but they also have had the races in between. So yeah, it all fits. Kitchen and storage area in there, so they've got sinks and things like this everywhere. just to make life easy. Don't have to travel for water or to wash things up. So these are the hens that John will be aiming for the middle distance national. So these are virtually all Francois in here, which is our main family that we've had now for 16 years. And where most of our successors come from in that period of time. So we was very lucky. In 2009, we first went over and see Francois in Holland. We bought 2 rounds of him, one in 2010 and another round in 2011 from all his main pigeons at the time. And then we managed to build a very good friendship up with Franz, and he actually retired from pigeons in November 2015, and he offered us the chance to buy every pigeon in his loft at that time, which we done. And then we've carried on building the family, and the Francois are quite a unique kind of way, or Fran's done a very unique way compared to most Belgian and Dutch fanciers, in that he kept the pigeons very pure. So in 1975, 50 years ago, when he started racing, he brought in pigeons from kind of 4 main lines, 4 different sources, which included the old Janssen lines and stuff like that at the time, some Gabby van der Beely in there. And then he blended them together, and he put very, very few crosses in. And if he did, it was often with joint breeding, so it'd already be one of his pigeons paired to an exceptional pigeon in Belgium or Holland, and then they would split the young birds. So in 50 years, they've not really been watered down from the original family, and we've kept on very much the same way, so breeding them close over the generations, which means the winners keep coming. Multiple generations, we're now 6, 7 generations from them originals of 50 years ago, but the pigeons still look the same, they handle the same, and there's, the winners still keep coming. And they've set some really great records, as we said earlier. The record in the NFC this year. What did we have in the St Malo? First 7, was it, between us?
Yeah, first 6.
First six, I think, in the National Flying Club this year from St Malo again, between me and John. We had in the open result, so against the whole country, and they just keep coming, say, through the generations. And the great thing with that is because they're so an inbred family, they make a really great cross for people that have pigeons off us, and then they put them with something else. It's because they're so inbred, they really, get that hybrid vigour with a cross as well. Which was why we also brought the Gomars, not to lose the family or to water it down, but to try some of the crosses, and also with the distance pigeons, we've added some in as well. So to have some crosses in the future, but also to keep the family going. Our plan is to keep the Francois going for, well, at least as long as they keep winning.
Next we got.
So these are all bred at mine, but these are the Gomar babies. So these have been weaned now, what, 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah.
2.5 weeks, something like that. So cocks that were out, we were your French roll cocks, and these were mainly be aimed at the channel races this year, the middle distance channel races. And you've got 7. Yeah, 7 cocks. As you see, he doesn't race big teams of pigeons. It's very much quality over quantity. These have just been out, they've just come back in. A lot of yearlings and 2-year-old cocks in there, which would be, say, set up for the channels from sort of 2 to 450 miles this year, and 7. There we go. predominantly your main sort of young bird team. Again, they'll be ready for the young bird nationals. So these are predominantly French swale in here. There is a couple of crosses and with the Gomars as well. So you'll have a few of them that will go across the channel on the Gomars to see how they do in them middle distance sort of races as young birds. And then them other ones will be kept just for the club racing and inland and fed racing. So they'll be treated differently if they're going down here. Yeah, they say that their main aim is the channel young bird races. Trained differently, prepared differently, fed differently. So that's why he has them in different sections.
Easy to control, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a very different getting a pigeon prepared for a 250-mile channel race as a young bird than a 70-mile club race on the same day. You know, it's so you've got to train them different and prepare them differently. So if we come down here, you'll see these are John's stock birds. House behind, and again they're in different sections. You're going to get some out, John?
Yeah, I'll take them now.
So they have the access to the aviaries as well normally, but we shut them away while you're coming so that you can catch them. They're all on grills in there as well, so all the droppings can come down. So just again make life easier. Again, quite small sections. There's not many pigeons in each one, but helps to get them ready. But predominantly the stock birds are at mine. Most of these are actually John's sort of ex-racers that have retired, so he doesn't have that many stock birds here. So this is the pigeon we see the photo of earlier on the wall. So the Maltese Falcon. He won the National Flying Club from Comtiers as a young bird on the day when John actually had 8 pigeons dropped together from the national, and it never been done before. And I ended up second fancier to him, taking 9th and 10th. That was not a great call. I had 3 come together. One was just a few seconds a bit later trapping, and I thought, bang on the time I suspected them. Pigeons I thought I'd get as well, and then I rang John after the race to see what time he was, and he said, oh, he's beat me. I thought that was going to be, really good pigeons. And then he said, what time's your second pigeon? Oh, 1 second later. The one after, he said, oh, that's on the same second as the second pigeon. And suddenly he's got 8 to beat me, and I'm like, gone from being really happy, thinking I'm going to be well up there in the national, to my partner's got 8 to beat me, so I'm going to be well down. And then when the result come out, I was second fancier, and interestingly enough, that day actually the 3rd and 4th fancier to clock as well clocked our pigeons. Right. So actually the first 14 pigeons in the results was all Francois bloodlines. So yeah, absolutely. It's so the best previously had been the first 5 somebody had took once many years ago. And then, say this year in the national, we had the first 6 between us as well. So actually, that's 2 of the records there. But say he's bred. Not only did he win the national, he went to stock after winning. Interestingly enough, the hen that was 1 second behind him on the clock, John sent back 6 days later back to France again, because it was a holdover the first race. And it was a very different race. One was quite quick, one was quite slow. And the pigeon that clocked 1 second after him actually then won the national the following week. So she was first and second national 6 days apart from the same race points. But 1 second quicker, and she'd have been the double national winner. But John didn't send him back because he'd won. He stopped him, but sent the others back.
He was 3rd and 2nd, really, but yeah.
So it's the Prince of Concierge. So he went to both races as well. Could have actually easily have won both nationals as well, because he was on the drop both times. So he actually clocked 3rd in the first race, behind the Maltese Falcon we just looked at, and the Queen of Concierge. John sent him back as well, and he was actually joint first, so the first 2 pigeons were on exactly the same time. Just the way the computer system worked it out, so though it was a dead heat, the other pigeon got the first card and he got the second, but he was actually a national winner, exactly the same velocity, so he had first and third national again 6 days apart. So, and again, these are all our Francois pigeons, so, and he's actually bred some really good pigeons as well. I don't know if I mentioned with the Maltese Falcon, he'd say this year he bred first UK and third in the Dubai one loft race as well. So yeah, so proven pigeons, proving to breed on. I think is very important. Generations and generations of winners. Yeah. The Maltese Falcon, his dad is a pigeon I will show you in a bit as well, called D32. Not only did he breed the Maltese Falcon, he's also bred another national winner, a second national, a third national. So it's kind of going down the lines. And he, in turn, is direct from D'Artagnan, which was our number 1 cock, who's responsible for like 14 different national winners. Probably one of the best breeding pigeons there's ever been in the UK. This is another one. This was Burnham Queen. We call her. We actually bred her mother, and we sold her mother to Lee Bastone. A very top flyer in Burnham, who also flies in the same club here, the Holbridge Club. And he crossed that with a Gabba van der Beely pigeon, the mother he bought from us, and then raced her, which was the first youngster off them, and she won the national for Lee. At that time, Lee only raced young birds. He didn't race old birds, so at the end of the year, he sold all his young bird team. So we went and bought her at his auction he had online, and that turned out a really good move because again she's 50% our blood with the Gabby, but she's bred I think 2 national winners, and a second national winner, and a separate section winner as well since then as well. So she's become a national winner and a mother of 2 national winners. So really good, and also her mother also bred. Again, bred by Lee, but bred a national winner for another fancier in our club as well, so which is Mickey Watts. So again, super breeding, going down the generations, as I was saying earlier, that because they're such an inbred family, it's very easy to keep reproducing generation after generation. They don't weaken because there are multiple crosses and whatever in them. The blood is still there and it's strong. And it keeps coming through. The flash one next. So this is a pigeon that was bred in our stock loft, 4 stock. We kept him because, right from, not just because of the colour, but just from the word go. It was something I really liked about him, the intelligence of the pigeons. You could just see it in him from literally when he was still in the nest. So we put him straight to stock. The pigeon we call Pie de Moor. So his father is a pigeon that was called a Moor, that's raced in Holland for Francois. He won first against 19,000 pigeons, second against 16,000 pigeons. And then he's become a really top breeder as well. He's bred the national winner, his grandfather to a national winner this year. For another fancier as well. Many other. The section winner he bred in the national. It was the wind was completely against us here, and I think it was about 20 minutes in front of the next fancier in our section, the youngster off him. So it was only 50th Open National. It was like 20 minutes in front of the next pigeon in the section, so it was a really good performance on the day, even though it wasn't kind of recognised in the open result. Very good pigeon. Got there. A very small hen. She's getting on now. She's 10 years old, but still got some youngsters off her this year already. A pigeon we call Tip Top Devil, so she's one of the last children ever bred off Tip Top Junior, which again was a Francois pigeon that was a real legend. I think it's 25 different national winners carry his blood, including when Fran still owned him in Holland, first against 19,000 pigeons twice, first against 16,000 pigeons, all come down, were children of Tip Top Junior. And he was never massively bred from either. That's the thing. Franz wasn't having, 20, 30 youngsters. I think he wasn't on artificial insemination or anything like that. He was breeding 6 youngsters a year max off him, probably racing 4, selling a couple. That the amount of winners, generation after generation. It's now 7 generations of won massive races all around the world from him as well. In fact, if you look in like the Leiderman's pedigrees as well, they got pigeons. They are very closely related to Tip Top Junior in their more older lines, not their grizzle lines of the good grids today, but the lines that are still winning for them.
The Van Swals, they look small, smallish pigeons.
Small to medium, yeah. They're never not big pigeons. So certainly most of the lines, they're not big at all. So. With the old birds, I think John's probably got as good as a record of anybody in this country in young bird nationals over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. But he's a much better young bird flyer than I am. But I kind of do well in do okay in the young birds, but do well and more in the old birds. So trying to get them ready for them sort of middle distance races. And for us, the one-off racing is kind of relatively new. We've kind of only played around the last couple of years. It's something that we really want to move into. I think we've done well locally and all the races that we do in nationals. Our bloodlines have done well. We've won a one-off race in the UK with our bloodline. We didn't win it, but it was some of our blood and stuff like that, and we've had some good results in the Ace Pigeons. This year we was the Pioneer Syndicates was the golden breeder, so the best sort of average within the team in the UK Premier one-off race. But say it's something now that we want to move on to. So for the Pattaya sort of one-off race is kind of the next step for us. To see if our pigeons can perform with the best fanciers in the world in the race. It's a step up.
With Pattaya now increasing their distance to the final and the extra final, does that change your thinking on what you send?
I think it will definitely change in that we're probably seeing the cross section of pigeons. So I think what we'll probably do is we'll try the Go Mars pigeons for the sprint sort of section, and I don't think they'll probably necessarily go out and do well in the very long distance, but certainly the sprint to middle, I think they'll do well. We'll also send some of the Francois pigeons definitely, because they will can do right through the programme. They can sprint middle and long very, very okay. And I think, just thinking about it, since you said about this extra distance race, so we'll probably actually put a couple of pairs together of our new long distance blood, which will have the strength to keep doing, flying 600 miles, but with some of our more proven swells at the longer distances. So pigeons like from our Tip Top Tora line, she won the Argent National for me at 531 miles on the hardest or hottest day ever recorded in France, and still today in a northeast wind. And she was 56 international against 22,000 pigeons, which, bear in mind, she had to cross that channel very late at night. And I'm sure she did, because though I didn't clock her too early in the morning, she couldn't have got from the coast to me unless she'd crossed the night before. There just wasn't enough daylight hours. So it's another one of our national winners. It's a pigeon I call Sophie Boy, after my daughter. He won 5th Combine Guernsey as a young bird, and then won the National Flying Club from St Filbert at 290 miles as a yearling. again, his offspring have actually done quite well in the one loft races that we've sent to so far. Some reasonable results coming from him, and also his children and grandchildren performing in the nationals. A few top tens from his children and grandchildren in nationals already as well. So yeah, there's another one we have hopes for that might breed us something. So I don't think there'll probably be something going from him to Pattaya, all being well this year. So again, a pigeon that can perform on the hard days, and his offspring are doing well as well. Lastly, another old boy, he's 10 years old, is a pigeon we call D32. So he's the father of the Maltese falcon, the first one we had. He's a kind of unique pigeon in that he did actually race for me. He was never a brilliant racer, but his breeding was really, really good. So we actually sold a pair of babies of him when he was in the race team as a kit for somebody to race, and they both topped the fed as babies. So though he had a few positions, I say he wasn't a brilliant racer, so I thought maybe he's worth a go in the stock loft. So we put him into the stock loft for the 2020 breeding season. And the first youngsters that come out of him that year was the Maltese Falcon that won the NFC, and the nestmate was 18th in the same race as well, open. So it turned out a good idea. One of the first children we sold off him went to Staddens.
Right.
And that's bred, I think, a first and a third nationals for him. So one of the first ones that went to stock out of him. And they say now he's responsible for 2 first, second, third, fifth, and about 7 or 8 other top 10 positions in nationals, all coming down from him as well. So yeah, going through the generations, and obviously he was the grandfather of the first UK third open in Dubai this year as well.
Yeah.
So, but he's quite unique because he's actually bred from a full brother-sister pairing.
Right, okay.
So D'Artagnan, one of our very best breeders, who's actually still alive. He's 10 years old and still breeding. D'Artagnan was bred in 07, so he's now 19 years old and still alive in my loft.
Right.
At 19. But he was paired to his full sister, which was Dringell 200. And we bred that first year in 2016, the first year after we bought all the Franz's pigeons. We bred 4 that way. This one, as I say, has become a good breeder. A special lady, which was also the same year. She's bred a first and a second national. A third one we put up for a charity auction and was bought by Mickey Watts. That's bred 2 national winners for him. And the 4th one we sold at an auction at Blackpool, and I've never heard any more from what that done. But what a strike rate from a full brother-sister pairing. Yeah. You know, all 3 out of the 4 at least have bred multiple nationals. So, yeah, so that's kind of our main pigeons around the Francois. But I don't know. They are a true family of pigeons that just keep going, and the longevity of them. And say D'Artagnan's 19, still in the loft, and more. He was 06, so he's 20. He's still alive in the loft as well at mine today. Prince of Wrexham was another huge winner for the for Franz, and one of our very best breeders. He's responsible for 11 national winners for combine winners, and many other top performances. He was born in 09. He's still alive, so he's 17 years old. So you just see the strength in the pigeons, the fact that they live so long, you know, the longevity's there. And I think that's all in their constitution, which again, why I like them for the one loft races, because very, very rarely do you get a sick one. You know, if they get the young sickness or stuff, they're normally over it very quickly. You know, and then they just got that strong constitution. Franz himself was actually a doctor, so he's actually Dr. Francois, and that made him completely against antibiotic abuse. So, you know, when some of our cousins in Europe were probably antibiotics in the 80s and 90s, he wouldn't touch them unless the pigeons needed it. So for that, I think again it's built up a very strong immunity system. So he would test, but he would only ever actually give a pigeons anything if anything was wrong. So there was never blind treatment, and that's something else that we followed. You know, our stock birds especially, don't get treated unless there's an issue. We test a lot before pairing, after they've had the breeding season. If there's nothing wrong, there's no need to give them anything. So again, that helps, I think, them build their strong immunity over time, and keep them constitutionally very strong. And the same with the race birds. They test regularly, and again we don't blind treat. The only thing we do is they get obviously the jabs that we have to give them, but then they get every pigeon on the loft in around October time, November, just as they're finishing the tidying up from the molt, everything gets 14 days for a typhoid treatment. So that's the one kind of treatment that we give without anything necessarily being wrong. But I think as you go into that end of the molt, all the stress of the season, it's good to get rid of that before the winter really kicks in and before there's potential problems.
Like when you're sending your birds off to one-off base, what do you do? Preparation with the birds, like do you basket train them, or do you have like a specific age?
I think, especially the further afield they're going, they want a bit more age on them. I think LC it probably helps to travel, but it's kind of, as I said, we're pretty new to this one-off game, so it's a bit of a kind of finding out where that sweet spot is, and speaking to some people around also, maybe you give them an extra injection for one of the 3-in-1 kind of injections. I know a lot of fanciers are doing that when they send them over. We didn't do that at all this year, but that's something that we're probably going to think about for this year. I think is
because a lot of the one-off races now that I'm aging for, a lot of them asking participants for the rotavirus. They're all saying that's one of the most important things for them to do. I do know some people don't like to inject their birds with many pigs.
Well, I think when you've got, I'm probably one of them. I'm not a great fan of giving the pigeons anything coming.
I used to send mine just the normal paramixo.
Exactly.
That was it. I just leave mine to it.
But I think when you think about it logically, you've got so many pigeons coming from all over the world, and it's I'm a firm believer. It's like children, they're perfectly healthy. They go to school for the first time, and for the first 6 months they're permanently ill. They've got a cold, or they picked up this, that, or the other. And it's the same with young pigeons, isn't it? The immunity system's not strong, so anything you can to boost that probably makes complete sense for the one-off pigeons. So I think we will be doing that when we send the pigeons this year. We'll get some of that vaccine and do that before they go. So where would you recommend age? Well, what age do you like to receive them?
It's quite a hard question, because many fanciers also ask us that question. But we recommend to send like March, April, May, and the beginning of
the age of the pigeon.
And
Like
45 to 60 days.
45 to 60 days. That's the kind of ideal sort of time you think,
Because when they arrive in Pattaya, they go to quarantine for 21 days.
Okay. At the loft or? At the loft.
We have separate the quarantine areas.
So each batch go into that one section until the 21 days.
So then they go to the loft, and then they're in little aviaries, aren't they, on the landing boards where they trap for about 14 days. So they can have a look, and then they start releasing them with the other birds.
That makes sense. I'm never a very good one at getting my youngsters out anyway, so because it's always a day job the first time. So normally the eyes have changed and whatever before I get my youngsters out at home, so they're quite used to being strong when they first fly and finding their way in. So
And the overall experience of Pattaya has been good.
Excellent. I think the information that comes from you guys and from yourself is really good. I mean, that's the experience I think you want in a one-off race, is to be able to follow it step by step and, you know, see everything that's going on. And I think getting that information flow when you're nowhere near, you know, is what you're paying for, really, isn't it? It's that excitement of the training, waking up in the morning to see if your pigeons are back, how they go into bed. So yeah, I mean, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the value, isn't it? So that you get for, you know, to get through the winter for us. So it's like, you know, you've got an extra race season, if you like, when we're not racing.
Yeah, it does help, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does help
definitely.
that winter months.
Yeah, exactly. Gives you something to look forward to when the next trainer is, when the next hot spot, you know, and then to the final. So it definitely keeps you going. But yeah, and then you get the added bonus of racing against some of the best fanciers in the world. So it's, you know, that's always good to compare how you do. So we're on that learning curve. It's something we want to improve, and I'm sure it'll probably take us a few seasons, but hopefully we'll get better and better and realise what the pigeons that perform, because I honestly believe even racing to our own loss, there's pigeons that, you know, perform better in different areas. So, you know, there's pigeons that are good club pigeons, there's pigeons that are good national pigeons, there's pigeons that are slightly different when you get to internationals and they're racing against all of Europe. You know, they've got to have a slightly different way about them and think differently, I think, and probably very the same for the one-off races. So it's, you know, we're trying different pairings, different ways, different bloodlines, if you like, to find which ones actually perform in one-off races better. So it's rather than, you know, I know people will sometimes buy one-off proven pigeons in. So, but our aim is to find within our own families the pigeons that can do it the best. You know, and, it may not be our best national pigeons, it might not be our best club pigeons, it might be something else that sort of comes through, but it's a different form of racing. So,
wish you luck for this season.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time and coming to visit us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you.
So thank you for watching and see you all. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.